All right, two things. Koguma's smile must be protected, and this old man is absolutely amazing. So I'm about 6 episodes into Super Cub at this point, and I have to say this is easily one of my favorite shows of this season. It just came out of nowhere. I just gave it a random chance before our first impressions for the anime cast, and I absolutely fell in love with this show. It is in a season that just really has nothing for Yashike or healing, relaxing shows. This is kind of that little gem in there of relaxation that I am absolutely loving to death at this point. So, like I said, 6 episodes in at this point, and this is my thoughts on it so far. So, Super Cub follows a girl named Koguma, who is, as the title of the first episode leads you to believe, she has nothing. This is a girl that has no parents. She lives alone. She bikes to school every day. She's very quiet. She has no friends. And like I said, just there's a lot of emphasis in this first episode that she has nothing. She gets up in the morning by herself, an empty apartment, gets ready, goes to school, sits alone in class, eats alone in class, goes home, back to her empty apartment, and that's her day. But one day, when she's biking home from school, she gets passed by a guy on a bike and a motorbike. And so she just has a random thought to just turn around and go straight to the nearest bike shop and see if she can buy a bike. She's been kind of struggling with the uphills with her little bike. And so she's like, well, let's check this out. So she goes to this place. It's ran by this old man that is just, like, hey, are you looking to buy a bike? And she's like, I can't afford the thing. I don't really have any money. And he's like, well, you get a used one. So he goes back in his shop and he pulls out this Super Cub, a pretty old Super Cub that he's been fixing up. And he's like, $100, it's all yours. And she's like, why would you sell this for $100? And he's like, it's killed 3 people or something like that. He just seemingly made up something just to kind of give it a low price. This old man was just trying to help this girl out. But yeah, she's like, sure, I'll take it. And no, I don't really care that it killed 3 people or 3 people dead because of this thing. You'll find out the story behind that later in the series, and it was interesting. Let's just say that. But yeah, she goes and gets her license, and then at that point, she starts riding the Super Cub to school and back. And then after a while, taking little adventures with it, so to speak. So at school, there's another girl named Reiko, and she quickly, realizes that she has a Super Cub, and you kind of find out that Reiko is kind of a fan of Super Cubs as well, and so this creates a bond between the two of them. So Koguma essentially gains a friend through driving this Super Cub. And throughout the entire series so far, a lot of the focus is on Koguma kind of discovering Super Cubs, really kind of learning about, different people that have had Super Cubs, getting parts for it, the kind of camaraderie that you'll find behind the fandom of a Super Cub, the history of the Super Cub. But really, a crux of it, the main majority of it, is just really her gaining something. Well, like I said before, she had nothing before. It's very apparent. It's kind of depressing. It's kind of sad seeing that. But throughout the series, it's like all these little moments of significant payoff when you see this girl smile over obtaining something, reaching a goal, learning something new, falling in love with the Super Cub. It was absolutely, it's been a beautiful series so far, and every time this girl smiles, it's so heartwarming. I just get so much joy out of it. It is like I said, you're kind of discovering it with her as she's learning these things. She's gaining substance. She's gaining things in her life that she loves, and it's such a rewarding show to watch, and it's so relaxing. She's so soft-spoken. It's so atmospheric that you just kind of go along this journey with her. I mean, yes, I will be very, very clear. This is a very, very slow show. It's not that the pacing feels slow. It's very kind of relax, go on this journey, take your time kind of thing. It's her just the little nuances of her just kind of trying to start the mower going forward, or the motor going forward, all kind of stuff. It is a very slow, relaxing show, but like I said, it's so soothing, it's so relaxing, so healing, and like I said, the payoff is just every moment she gains something, is just such a treasure. It's like watching your own daughter, your own son gaining some new knowledge or learning something new or discovering something, and you're just like there with her and you're just kind of rooting her on. It has been, like I said, just the way it's portrayed, the way that it paces everything, the way you root for her. It is such a treasure. I cannot express that enough. And I have absolutely thoroughly been loving this show so far, and I cannot wait for more of it. I will say episode 5 was a lot more noisy of a show episode. I was debating with Chris on the podcast, is this a Yashike? And usually with the Yashikes, it's hard to label something that when it has loudness in it, when there's Genki characters, something that will kind of just drive you up. And yes, it gets pretty loud in the 5th episode and it follows Reiko's story. But overall, I just think it's a very Yashike show in the midst of a very not so Yashike season. So if you're looking for that, if something you're looking like, if you love, Yuru Camp or Layback Camp, if you love Nanbiori minus the comedy, this is what you're looking for, and you definitely should check it out. It's Super Cub again. Absolutely loving it so far. Definitely check it out if any of that sounds interesting to you. I hope you guys enjoyed my first impressions of the series so far. I'm looking forward to more, and I hope you all enjoyed. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and y'all take care.